Deep in the unforgiving, sun-baked dirt of California's Central Valley, thousands of massive concrete pillars stretch across the wasteland like the ribs of a dead dinosaur. This isn't the ruins of some ancient, forgotten civilization. This is the California High-Speed Rail, a megaproject that promised to launch American transit into the future for a cool $33 billion. Today, the budget has exploded to a staggering $128 billion. And after 15 years of endless construction, brutal lawsuits, and political theater, they haven't laid a single inch of track. Think about that for a second. Elon Musk is trying to put a human on Mars for less money than it takes California to move a guy from Fresno to Bakersfield. Instead of the future, California bought a concrete graveyard. They used eminent domain to rip century-old farms away from working Americans just to leave concrete pillars rotting in their almond orchards. But the real tragedy isn't the missing train, or the fact that this ghost project is swallowing millions of your tax dollars every single day. Because the true horror is the sinister political machine keeping this zombie alive, long after the engineers knew it was doomed.
By the end of this video, you will understand why America's most ambitious megaproject isn't an engineering marvel. It's a masterclass in legal theft.
To understand how a $128 billion disaster happens, you have to go back to 2008. America was looking across the ocean with a massive inferiority complex. Japan had the Shinkansen, Europe had the TGV, China was pouring thousands of miles of high-speed rail. Meanwhile, Americans were sitting in gridlock on Interstate 5, inhaling smog and paying for overpriced gas. So, the politicians sold the voters a futuristic dream, a bullet train connecting Los Angeles to San Francisco in exactly 2.5 hours. It would run on 100% renewable energy. It would create 1 million jobs. And best of all, it would only cost the taxpayers $33 billion.
It was a perfect, irresistible political pitch. But there was one massive problem. The politicians were writing checks that the laws of physics simply could not cash.
You see, California lawmakers suffered from the ultimate Silicon Valley delusion. They thought they could treat heavy infrastructure like a software update. Move fast and break things works fine for a smartphone app. But when you try to break a granite mountain, it costs you billions. Most engineers looked at the proposed route and knew immediately. This wasn't an infrastructure plan. It was a geographic suicide mission. Building a bullet train that travels at 220 miles per hour requires perfectly flat, perfectly straight tracks. You cannot bend the rules of gravity or momentum.
But California isn't flat. To connect Los Angeles and San Francisco, this train has to blast through the Tehachapi Mountains.
We are talking about boring massive tunnels through solid granite, directly on top of the San Andreas Fault, one of the most active earthquake zones on the planet.
But surprisingly, mountains aren't what killed this project. The real villain was paperwork.
Unlike China, which simply bulldozes anything in its path, California had to buy land from private citizens. Instead of securing the entire route first, politicians panicked. They started building immediately in the Central Valley just to show progress. But that desperate move triggered a financial butterfly effect that is bleeding the state dry. Imagine you hire a crew to build a house, but you haven't bought the living room yet. That is exactly what happened here. Contractors brought in 1,000-ton tunnel boring machines and armies of workers. Then, a single farmer refuses to sell a 2-mile stretch of almond orchard. The courts step in. Everything stops.
But the heavy machinery doesn't clock out. The construction companies activate standby rates.
Because the government failed to clear the land, taxpayers are forced to pay contractors hundreds of thousands of dollars a day to literally stand in the dirt and do nothing. And if you want to know how bad it truly is, the French National Railway Company, the pioneers of the TGV, actually came to California to help. They looked at the political dysfunction, shook their heads, and completely pulled out to build a railway in Morocco instead.
That's right. European experts decided they would rather face the Sahara Desert than deal with California's bureaucracy.
So, how does a budget explode from $33 billion to a mind-numbing $128 billion without a single train running?
Economists call it the sunk cost fallacy. The politicians have burned so much of your money that if they cancel it now, it's political suicide.
But that is only half the truth. The real answer lies in the dark motive behind modern American megaprojects, the consulting industrial complex. While the public sees a failing infrastructure project, a shadow network of private contractors, lawyers, and environmental consultants sees a gold mine. During the Great Depression, America built the Hoover Dam, a wonder of the modern world, in just 5 years. Today, it takes 5 years in California just for a panel of lawyers to decide if a bullet train might disturb the mating cycle of a desert mouse.
Even with zero tracks laid, these firms are billing the state hundreds of millions of dollars every single year just to write impact reports and redraw maps.
They didn't build a transit system. They built a $128 billion subscription service where taxpayers are forced to renew every year to feed the consulting cartel. In the world of government megaprojects, delay is not a risk. It is a highly optimized business model. If they actually finish the train, the money stops flowing. The failure of the California high-speed rail isn't an engineering accident. It's the most profitable outcome for the people building it.
The California high-speed rail was supposed to be a monument to the future, a shining symbol of American innovation. Instead, it has become a masterclass in bureaucratic paralysis and legal theft. Those thousands of concrete pillars baking in the desert sun aren't holding up a train. They are holding up a broken system. Thousands of years from now, archaeologists will dig up these concrete pillars. They'll think it was a temple to a forgotten god. In a way, they'll be right. It's a temple to government hubris. This train may never reach the station, but the bill? Children being born in California today will still be paying off this debt long after we are gone.
The engineers say it's still possible. The economists say it's financial suicide. But I want to know what you think.
Will a bullet train ever actually run between LA and San Francisco? Or is this simply the greatest legal heist in American history? Let me know in the comments. Because in the end, the math doesn't lie. Only people do.